Hey, what's up, Tanner? I just wanted to make a video. Typing is just it's a pain in the ass. I don't really want to type out a bunch of stuff, so I'm gonna be sending you a lot of videos. I'm not sure exactly how long this process is gonna last. Um, I've been thinking about doing something like this for quite a while, and so what I want to give out of it is, it's really funny because my idea behind this is I want to kind of be like a high performance coach in the sense of like people come to me and in 4 weeks I can really boost their jujitsu, like really boost their level. So I'm fascinated kind of in hacking, trying to hack people's jujitsu, and give them ideas and give them philosophies to really jumpstart their game and hopefully like advance levels way faster. Okay, so when I posted that, I was really talking about training. Everyone was. I honestly, I picked you, but I think I got 67 messages from blue belts all across the world, and not one person. Everybody was like, "I want to work on north south chokes, or I want to work on leg locks, or I want to work on this or that." To me, that is inconsequential. Like the techniques actually don't matter at all, in my opinion. um, your training mindset and the way you train is so much more important, and that's how you plug in those techniques. I think that's what really separates guys um, from when they kind of figure out how they like to train. Some guys like to train 6 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and they get really good results like that. Some guys do an hour, but to me, more important is it's what you're doing and how you're doing it, and not just necessarily like, okay, I'm going to drill for 30 minutes. Like, I always use two words whenever I'm talking to people about training, and those are intent and sophistication. And you'll hear me say them a lot. But I know you teach a lot at your school, and we're going to get a little bit more into that. But I just want you to; those are just going to be two words that I like to repeat myself a lot, and those are going to be two words you hear all the time. So, anyways, I'm going to give you a little bit about me, kind of outline where I want to take this. And again, I don't know how long it's going to last. It might be 4 weeks, it might be 8 weeks, just kind of whenever we're both like, okay, like I think you're doing great, man. I think you're on the right track. And at any moment, you're like, look, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. Just let me know, man. I'm really honest. I'm a very honest guy. I don't, sugarcoat things. And so, do the same to me. Be like, hey, man, like, you're a little overbearing or, whatever it is. So again, I'm really excited to be working with you, and I hope I think this is going to be awesome. So anyways, so I started jiu-jitsu 5 years ago. When I started training, I started at a Straight Blast gym. It was a no-gi gym. I trained there for 9 months. Then I started training with Brandon at 10th Planet Decatur. When I first went to 10th Planet Decatur, Brandon was a purple belt. He had been training for, or I guess he'd been a purple belt for 2 months at that point, and started training with Brandon. At that time, the gym I think had about 12 members. Okay, there was 4 blue belts. Brandon was a purple belt, and everybody else was a white belt. And honestly, we were all terrible. Looking back now, but in Alabama at the time there was only 3 black belts, so it was very scarce. It was nowhere near like the sport's grown so much in Alabama. But yeah, Brandon was just a purple belt. So kind of like your situation, Brandon didn't have a teacher. Brandon's never had a teacher. Um, it's not like he had Eddie like next. He just had mastering the system. And he would travel and he learned from a bunch of different guys and from YouTube, but he's never had that. So I really sympathize for your situation. Brandon started his school as a blue belt, and again, he was terrible back then compared to where he is now, and he really just worked so hard. So I definitely like when I reading your situation, I was like, yeah, man, I can definitely understand where you're coming from. And so I started with Brandon. I got my blue belt after I'd been training a year and a half. I got my purple belt after I'd been training 9 months. And then I got my brown belt after I'd been training right before I'd been training 4 years. So now I've been a brown belt for not a year and a half yet, but like a year and a couple months. And so in that time, especially at purple belt, I really started to like come into my own. I've I think when I was a purple belt, I finished third in the 10th Planet Competitor of the Year for the entire association. I got to the quarterfinals of the Abu Dhabi trials where I lost to Enrico Coco. I've done a bunch of like pro invite tournaments. I've won a bunch of tournaments. I fought a bunch of block beaten. So I've done a lot. I'm coming up in 4 weeks. I'm headlining Zapatero 8 against Joe Bays. So in 5 years, I've really come a long way. And again, I credit all of that more so to the way I train. And that's what I obsess about. Like, I'm constantly thinking about how to change the way I train, how to be more efficient in training, and then add in the principles. And again, I'm very lucky to train with Brandon and Daniel O'Brien. I mean, those are my two guys that I train with all the time. But again, I think that's what's really helped me in 5 years get to the point where I'm beating guys that have been training 20, 15, 20, 25 years. And so, anyways, so what a lot of people what a lot of people don't know is that I haven't taken class in 2 years. Like, I haven't taken a formal class in 2 years. I pretty much only roll, and then I do my own training. So like, I do my own training camps and I do my own training sessions. Okay. And so this is just kind of some of the things I believe. And you're going to hear me say this a lot, but the two most important things is that you have intent in your training, and then you're sophisticated about your training. And so I'm always preaching to my class and the guys that I kind of work with a little bit more one-on-one in the gym, or the guys that come to me from some poor in 10th Planet and they ask me questions, is what is the purpose of your training for that day? I don't care. It might be my purpose of training is to laugh today and just have fun, just roll, be completely relaxed. I don't care if I win or lose. Like, you need to know that. All right. Or maybe the purpose of that day is to work on, I'm going to try and see how many anaconda chokes I can get. That's something I'm working on a lot right now, is my anaconda choke. And, maybe that's it. Or maybe it's how many times can I get my guard, can I pass a guard or not get, I don't want to get my guard passed. You need to be able to answer these questions specifically. And the reason why is because if you don't, and what I found myself doing, and Nathan Orchard, me and him talks a lot about this, and it's something that we both, like, he says a lot, and I completely agree, is, and he goes about it a little bit different way than I do, but if you don't have that intent, especially with you're teaching these guys right now, you're running a kids program, if some guy passes my guard, it's easy for me to go, and then, like, let's say a blue belt passes my guard, and it's easy for me to go, I wasn't trying today, I was rolling a little bit more relaxed. Like, I used to do that, I'd be like, or, I got swept by a bigger guy. Well, it's not that big. Like, I would just kind of just act like, well, I'm better than that guy. It's no big deal. But what you'll find is that those are holes in your game that you're just not addressing. Okay. And you're kind of giving yourself excuses when you don't have that. So like, I know if I don't get 3 anaconda chokes, I need to keep working on my anaconda choke. You know what I'm saying? Or I know if I get my guard passed 5 times, if I'm coming in and I'm like, okay, so like right now I'm getting ready to fight Joe Bays. And so the 3 things I'm really working on are chokes, escaping leg locks, and guard passing. And so I know that if I get leg locked 5 times, I just need to keep working on my leg locks. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't really care about the rest of my training. I don't care if somebody arm locks me necessarily. Like, I'm not there to win. I'm there purely to escape leg entanglements. I'm putting my feet in danger more and more. And it's really, and that's the way you grow really fast over the course of a month. I don't care if somebody arm locks me. I could care less if somebody arm locks me right now, or if somebody passes my guard necessarily. But if somebody leg locks me, that's what I'm obsessing about right now. Or if I miss an anaconda choke or I'm missing a Darce choke, I'm wondering why. Okay. And then sophistication. All right. And so when you start to get more sophisticated about your training, to me, whenever I ask somebody how they train, so if I asked you, I said, hey, Tanner, how did you train today? And you go, well, I worked on, I taught class and we worked on lockdown sweeps, and then I rolled 5 rounds, and then we talked a few minutes after class. I tapped everyone, didn't get tapped, went to the house. To me, that's a very basic answer. All right. Just as if me and you rolled, and let's say you beat me. All right. And I just go, oh, well, Tanner's just better than me. You'll ask a lot of guys. Just ask guys at your gym tomorrow. If you watch 2 guys roll, I always ask the guys when they, I always ask guys when I see some of these guys get done rolling, I'll be like, what happened there? Like, how do you think that round went? And the guys that go, oh, well, Johnny's just way better than me, I couldn't do anything. I always just think that guy's never going to get better. That's not the mindset you want to get better, And then sometimes I'll ask guys and they've just destroyed this dude. And I'll be like, hey, Jacob, how'd that round went? And he's like, man, the angle of my Kimura grip, I didn't curl my wrists, or I didn't connect it to my chest, or whatever it is. They're thinking of the things, even though they tapped this dude out 8 times, I just watched it, he's thinking of the things he did wrong. He was working on a Kimura grip and he wasn't happy with it, And those are the guys that get better faster, all right? So you want to start being able to answer, when you think back on your roles is, well, how come Derek passed my guard? And if you just go, well, Derek's faster than me, I wasn't really trying, I ended up tapping him 3 times, no big deal. Well, then you go against somebody like, you go against JM, or you go against, somebody better than you, and they're passing your guard. You have those same answers, and you could really be working on your weaknesses, even if you are the best guy. The best guy isn't determined by, I guess at the end of the day, it is who taps who. But in 6 months, anybody can really pass somebody else, in my opinion. All right. I really do believe, like right now, in 6 months, you can be, if there's somebody better than you, in 6 months, you can be better than them. There's not a pecking order in this thing. Okay. So I want you to really start thinking about your training, right now, tonight, whenever you're watching this video, think about the last training session you had. Did you have intent? And how sophisticated were your answers on why things went bad? Why did you get submitted? Or even just something as simple as, why did it take you 5 minutes to pass? And then you'll start to plug in the principles of jiu-jitsu. You'll start going, well, my angle on my passing. And I'm going to show you a bunch of different things that I use and drills that have changed my game. And again, that's allowed me in 5 years to beat compete against really anybody in the world. I've rolled with Gio. I've rolled with Abu Dhabi champions. I've rolled with, and in 5 years, I really feel like I can hold my own against anybody. And again, I credit a lot of the stuff I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to show you all the tricks that I know, all the best drills I know, all the invisible jiu-jitsu I've learned from Daniel, Brandon, and a bunch of other really high-level black belts. And but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking is I want to change the way you train, the way you train your guys, the way you think about training, not just about like, well, I need to learn more about the lockdown, or to me, that doesn't matter at all. Like the techniques do not matter. Everybody knows all the same techniques, all right? It's how much you know about, to me, it's how you implement the techniques, the processes that you learn them through, and then how much you know about actual jiu-jitsu, how much you know about leverage, how much you know about balance, how much you know about weight distribution, all right? And so those are the 3 principles that, Daniel O'Brien believes in, and we're always going over is those 3. Balance, leverage, weight distribution, all right? And so again, I'm going to show you a lot of different ways to train those, and a lot of different ways that, again, I like to train. And I want you to just really I want to kind of go back and forth on this, okay? I want to hear your input, because the way I train is not going to be the way you train. I want to kind of find the way and find the things that you like. But to me, there are a few universal truths, And again, guys that train with intent and guys that train with, that can answer more questions, about jiu-jitsu, that's that word, that sophistication, that if you can write a 5-page paper on guard passing, you're probably going to be a better guard passer than the guy that just goes, well, just do a knee cut, that doesn't answer anything. But when you can go, how come my knee cut's not working? It's because I didn't win the inside space and I didn't connect my elbow, and actually the angle I started off with is wrong. I need to start at an angle at a 45 degree, yada, yada, yada. And you can talk all day like that. So when it goes wrong, you're going to be able to answer those questions. All right? And so I guess lastly, tomorrow I'm just going to film something to me, which is the most important drill I've ever learned. It's a drill Rickson used to use, a very simple drill. It changed everything for me on bottom defensively. It helps me move no matter how big the guy is. I'm going to send that to you. And then, any other questions you may have, just send them to me, man. And for the next, again, I don't know, 4 to 8 weeks, we're just going to hash out a bunch of different stuff. Really looking forward to it. Yeah.